Thank you all. I'd just like to start to confirm that at Queanbeyan Palerang Regional Council we have adopted a reconciliation action plan, and we acknowledge the First Nations that are on the land of our local government area. All of you who are present here today, I'd like to acknowledge you, elders past and present. I'm Ruth Ormella. I'm the Director of Development and Environment, and what a privilege to be here in the Nellie Hamilton Centre, and it might be the first time many of you have been here. These slides have been prepared to me. They are word intense. I'm going to get it around halfway and then we're going to have some images. So I'm going to move fairly quickly through them. I'm here basically not just because you're in our beautiful building and in our local government area, but I'm here to represent the ACT and Region Catchment Management Coordination Group. Our Chair, Maxine, can't be here today. Many of the chief executives, members from the ACT, First Minister's office that actually join us aren't here today either. So I've got the privilege of presenting to you, telling you a little bit about us as a group and how we bring together the ACT and the region to coordinate our efforts and lead to improvements across the catchment. I'm not going to read these words. You don't need these words, but if you want to read these words, you can. Effectively, this is the focus that we have as a group. The members, we have ACT Government and Icon Water, and then the local government areas of Queanbeyan Palerang, Yass, Snowy Monero. We have the UMCN and New South Wales Government also part of the group. So a little bit of a history. There was a catchment management strategy. We've been on a journey. We have moved from a strategy to a guideline. What wasn't great about the strategy is it didn't involve First Nations. It wasn't actually a genuinely collaborative piece of work, and it didn't have a monitoring framework. It was a large strategy that basically included many words, but it didn't tell us what it was that we were going to monitor, measure and achieve across the catchment. And so through the assistance of Alluvium, who are in the room, just a shout out to them and their hard work, we've moved from a strategy to a guideline. And this guideline now includes 5 goals, 4 focused areas and 20 guiding ideas and principles that will help us with our decision making across the catchment and hopefully lead to strategic alignment and all of us working jointly together to deliver on these key objectives. There are short-term effects and long-term effects that we wish to achieve through the guideline, and these slides will be available for any of you who wish to read them or go to the document yourself after today. Now, quickly, what are we doing here at Queanbeyan Palerang Regional Council? We provide, through our partnership working with the Molonglo Conservation Group, the Water Watch program with 3 particular areas across our local government area in Molonglo, Reach, effectively monitoring the water quality within the river. And these are the 3 site locations that the monitoring is undertaken on a monthly basis. So as officers, we step in and assist and provide the gap and the measure when the volunteers across the area are unable to, step in and do that water monitoring. So I have environmental health officers and a laboratory in this building if you're wondering how we actually deliver that sort of information. We have testing parameters which we record and account for. This photograph is actually the Queanbeyan River, but the Molonglo where the testing is done is obviously far more narrow at the point at which all of the testing is undertaken. And through that process, we input into the basically the Catchment Health Indicator program. And through that program, there's effectively a scorecard and an annual report. And why is this really important for us? It's all about the water quality. And that's really, as the director, my main focus is making sure that everything that we work and do can actually help to improve the water quality of, the tributaries that go through our local government area. Reach reports are then prepared and, reported in, and many of you would be, familiar with these. And we can see, just looking at this individual scorecard, between 2021 and 2025, there's been a reduction in relation to the quality at this particular monitoring point. And the reason for that is actually erosion and sedimentation issues entering into our waterways, and we know this. There is actually the ACT report, Catchment Health Indicator report as well, which is produced similarly. And that's the end of that little piece. But now I just want to focus on some other projects that we're doing, which is all, again, linked to water quality. And also how it is that the Catchment Coordination Group have helped us in this space as well. Queanbeyan's existing sewage treatment plant was built in the 1930s and actually has been treating effluent way above the population that it was originally designed for. And thank you to ACT colleagues who might be in the room, who might have been part of the assessment team that actually helped us to get to the point that we received a development approval in December of 2025. And what that means for us is that we're going to be able to improve the water quality standard and discharge that goes into the Molonglo from the sewage treatment plant and makes its way, yes, into Lake Burley Griffin. There are sustainability commitments that we have as an organisation in relation to this project. This piece of infrastructure is in the ACT, but it actually treats the effluent of the Queanbeyan and Jerrabomberra areas. And it needs to be able to cater for our growing population, which is actually growing on our brownfield land, our existing urban developed land. Other things that I'm really heavily focused on is the enforcement. And I've sort of mentioned issues to do with sedimentation and control measures. We do focus first in an educational way, with officers trying to inform and educate developers in relation to the harm that they are causing. But at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to take action under the Protection of the Environment Operations Act or the EP&A Act. And the 5 objectives which are in the guidelines that this work strongly aligns to are set out on this slide. You can see from this particular image the level of sedimentation that's actually happening up at Googong. And the types of issues that we have on sites is we have irresponsible construction that happens in our local government area. We have builders that believe that you don't need erosion and sedimentation control measures, inadequate fencing, and these are all things that are on the spot fine. And in relation to the Protection of the Environment Act, just that level of sediment in the water that's running off that site, that's enough for us to do an on-the-spot fine, which we do. So I'm really proud of my compliance officers that provide a really professional standard of service to our community, to the environment and to the river. And this is another example, the type of dumping that we have in our local government area. Developers from the ACT come across and dump their rubbish and their soil in our local government area, and we need to actually undertake the compliance issues in relation to that. This was actually dumped adjacent to a waterway. So it gives you an idea of the level of work and action that we need to take in our area. And if we don't do it, who is going to do it? And it's through things like the strategy and having the guideline that we'll be able to promote this work and action that we do in our local government area, why it's so important to invest in compliance and education across the area. And this is just, I think, my last slide. I just want to focus a little bit on petrochemicals in the water supply and what this means in terms of the actual impact on water quality within the catchment. This is just coming off possibly the washing of a truck or an actual garage forecourt. But to just give you an idea, just in the last month we've been out investigating 2 businesses in the Queanbeyan industrial area where they've been basically cutting up stone and discharging all of their wastewater and sediment into the existing stormwater system. That's going straight into our river. And what our officers have to do is they have to follow from the source and actually walk the gutters and knock on the doors and shut down the businesses. So it's never a great news story when we're doing that, I'm sure, but I think it's the best news for the environment and the catchment and everything. And I'm going to hand over back to Terry.